Hello and welcome back to the Pharaoh's Legion. It's been a crazy few months since we heard the Saturn 9 box set was coming. A lot's happened. Some of us were really upset, some of us were excited. I suppose a quick recap would be that I don't, all I can think about is fuck Bardo. I think a lot of units being released and not having real, feeling like the support, units disappearing, moving to Legends, let's say, but without a Legends, PDF, so we didn't really know what was going to still be there. Yeah, it's been crazy. So I can't get over that one. Although I thought it was hilarious that when they released the T-shirts, I still think that's a great one. It was good, kind of good PR really, and good spin, which is, I think, should be applauded for. Some great battle reports. I love listening to the SN battle reports, but the Heresy Hammer, that's another one I like listening to as well. They were quite honest on their one as well. Actually, I think SN obviously getting sponsored and that kind of thing. They were still pretty honest when it came to saying what they did and didn't like about the game, and fears about the changes and the fact that some of the units weren't playable anymore, or you had to start ripping arms off models because they didn't have those options anymore, that kind of thing. And like I said, the same with the Heresy Hammer. And there was a few others, but I can't remember all the names of. I look at a lot like yourselves, really. So yeah, obviously, I'm completely honest about everything because, like you, I'm just a fan of the game, and I want to discuss things like list building. I really love list building. So looking at the Mechanicum list and raising a Taghmata, which is what we're going to be doing in this kind of series of a few videos. I will also look at some Legion things, but I think there's quite a lot of Legion list building going on from other people, probably better than me. Where we're going to start looking at the Crusade Force Organization chart. So, and then we'll talk about little bits in between, a bit of the fluff and the character. Is the character still there? Actual characters, I feel like we just don't have any. I know the idea of the Mechanicum is you can be whatever you want to be because you're literally building your own body, putting your own weapons on, and becoming whatever. This time, I feel like it's not as confusing. There's not as much confusion going on. The only thing I had to think about was when I was looking at what loadouts to put onto my Archmagos, because you've got all the usual names, and I thought, oh yeah, of course, it's Cyber Familiar. Of course, I want an extra, +1 to my invulnerable save. It's not what it does anymore. So you have to go back and check what you actually, I just added a load of things. I thought, yep, sounds expensive, but fine, I'll add that. And then I realized that actually it's because none of the things you had in second edition do the same functions they used to do. So you've got to definitely have a look through, and I'll discuss it with you. But you've got to. It's customizable for a reason. You've got to do it your own way. Some things, I suppose, you always need. Like, of course, you can take the Cyber Familiar, because it makes other tests and things easier for you. Anyway, that's another story. So looking at the Crusade primary detachment, so you have your your high command at the top, which you get one of. You get 3 command units, which are basically characters. So the top 4 are characters. Then you have your troop choices next, which are all 4. And then you have, weirdly enough, your transports, your light transports. But the important parts are, I suppose, these days, why would you even take the troops? You don't have to take anything from this. You could just take, 4 transports if you wanted to. I'm not sure why you do that, but you can. So you need your basically your high command opens up another part of the detachment. So every time you take a character, it opens up another detachment for you, and that's when you can start adding the kind of, I don't want to say more fun stuff because it depends what you mean by fun. But some of the less scoring, more killing kind of things, or just whatever themes you want. So your high command opens up an apex detachment. So there are 3 types of apex detachments. We have retinues. You can get more officers, which are command in this case. you can open up the Army Vanguard detachment, which is 3 units of elites. And yeah, we have elites, so we have pretty good elites actually. Generally, the Myrmidons, well, literally the Myrmidons and the Domitar, our elites. So you've got your High Command, which is your Archmagos. You've got your Command, which is your Magos. So something that looks maybe a bit more like a Myrmidon, something similar to that. It's a complicated one. I'm hoping they actually bring out a few more kits, because I'd like a general Archmagos that could have an Aberrant and a Magos, like a standard Magos. I know there are a few bits out, but this edition they're trying to push the fact that if we've got models for it, you need to buy them. But in this case, which models are which? We know what the Archmagos is because the model came out. As far as a Magos goes, what do I do? Now, you could think, well, Andy, we've got loads of Magos options. Kind of. The problem is our troop choices now are actually tech priests. So if you've got a tech priest, you've got a Magos, and then you've got your Archmagos, you kind of want a proper, you want a definition between them all. Like what do they generally look like? I know that's a tough one in our case, but the Archmagos, he's going to look freaky because he's going to have, he's augmented himself. He can carry massive heavy weapons. They can all pretty much carry a conversion beamer, which isn't the crazy conversion beamer it used to be. It's slightly toned down, but still a really nice weapon for someone walking around on foot. Not your average Marine wouldn't be able to carry one of these. No, only us cyborgs. And then you've got your Magos, who also have their strength 5, toughness 5, I think 4 wounds as well. I'll have to double check that one. But yeah, they're pretty tough, and which is good because that's the point of the mechanic. Mostly they're tough. Even things like the tech thralls now, still 1 wound, but toughness 5, and it's true because you should be showing a way that they're more resilient. They're not actually zombies; they are machines. They have got armor. They shouldn't be just getting taken out by las rifles. So your Magos open up your auxiliary detachment. One of the auxiliary detachments is called heavy support, but the actual image in the heavy support section is a picture of a dreadnought, and which is now called a war engine. So yeah, exactly. So for example, and your armored fist detachment, which if you know the classic names, it's not really armored fist. It's your transports and your heavy transports. Your tactical support is your actual troops, 2 troop choices it opens up, and you get 2. Weirdly enough, it's our old troop choices, which were the Tech Thralls, the Thalax, and the Castellax. So it's a bit weird. A few things you just have to get used to. The names aren't the same as they used to be, so whatever it's called, just kind of make sure you check it twice, and see who is naughty and who's nice. Armored support kind of is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's your armor, and it's called armor in your army book as well, which is nice. I think our armored support, we haven't got many tanks anymore, which is interesting. I suppose we didn't really have that many before. But the Caractacus assault tank, and then we've got the Krios battle tank, and they split the other one, the Venator, separately. The Venator, you can, I can't remember which one you can switch now. The battle tank or the Venator, one of them has the rad kind of cannon in it. It's sadly not a massive flame template anymore. It's not the kind of Lord of War flame template it used to be. It's a blast weapon. I think it's just a 5-inch. It's a pie plate, I think, still, which is nice. But the other one just seemed a bit more flamey. It kind of was a bit more in line with the rest of the rad weapons, especially because they were all like, radiation weapons that had flame templates. But still good. Still a nice weird weapon that nobody else has. Combat Pioneer, they are your recon, because you've got fast attack, which is different, which comes under first strike in your auxiliary detachments, and you've got Combat Pioneer, which is your kind of recon, so your fast-ish units, but they're also kind of probably able to outflank or possibly deep strike or something. They can get them up the board quickly, but they're normally quite light. Similar to first strike. but First Strike's probably more like a fast vehicle. Yeah, you've got Shock Assault, which is a weird one again. It's kind of heavy assault. So for us, our heavy assault is also Castellax, but just with a different weapon loadout, and Ursarax, which I find quite weird because the Ursarax are very similar to the Thalax, which are our support unit, but I suppose you can't group them all together. The heavy assault, I suppose they are close combat. You're thinking Terminators, that kind of thing. Although they also carry firepower, they are, you get into close combat, you've got lightning claws and power fists, and that is exactly what we have with the Ursarax. So it's quite interesting. I think, yeah, I want to get into keywords and things like that, but yeah, so they are your auxiliary detachments. They are apex detachments, and these are all unlocked by your either high command or your command. You do also have options for Warlord detachment and your Lord of War detachment, and an allied detachment, but we're not going to talk about those because, that's the kind of thing you think about once you're bored with your actual army and you need some extra things. So the next thing we're going to look at is your high command can unlock quite a few different things, because your Archmagos, once you decide what kind of Archmagos you're going to run, you can then decide on the kind of really theming your army to go to. But that is another story and another episode. Again, thanks for watching, and I would say please like, possibly subscribe, but definitely comment, because it's all about community and I want you to tell me what you think. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.